Okay, we're live now. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are in the country or in the world right now. We are reporting live from Jima, and we have a presentation for you on how to combat mental health stigma. And we have brought several people here to come and talk to us on how to combat mental health, what mental health is, the dangers of stigmatization in mental health, and how we can help people around us. So, our moderators will be introducing themselves one after the other. Over to you, Julie.
All right, everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right, so yes, hi, hello, hola, bonjour, ni hao, assalamu alaikum, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, whoever joined from the different parts of the world today. And welcome all of you once again. Global Youth Mental Health Awareness, that is GYMHA, presents another inspiring Facebook Live. The Honorable, trust me, Jima has been contributing the mental health issue in different sector. Basically, we are focusing on the youth as well. So, the Honorable, today's theme is very productive theme. The theme is how to combat the stigma on the youth mental health issue. So today we have a great panelist. So let me introduce
Hello.
the all panelists today. So our one of the panelists is Julie Berg, who is the Jimha Advocacy Manager. Another panelist is Chizioke Wanko, who is the Jimha Ambassador and Volunteer Engagement Coordinator. And Victoria Mupende, who is a social worker, mental health expert, advocate, author, educators, Jimha Assistant Communication Director. Another one is OK Boluwatife Elizabeth, who is a GYMHA volunteer and mental health advocate. Trust me, that today's session going to be a very great session to all of you. And yes, all the youth, please be patient because today's session is all about you as well. So let's get started. So my first question to my dear Honorable Julie Berg, that what is the stigma around the mental health?
The stigma around the mental health, well, that's the general misconception that mental health is something that is not acceptable in society. And when it applies to young people, it can be particularly, it can stop people from trying to reach out because they think there's no solution for their problem, when in reality, the solutions can even be very simple, and as simple as just accepting that person to help them to reach out and come forwards and, you know, share their experiences and to let people know that it's normal and that they're, and to encourage other people to come forward and be more accepted, and to encourage people to also to be accepting of mental health issues.
Thank you. So let's hear the same question to my dear honorable brother Chijioke Wanko. What is the stigma around the mental health?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everybody from Nigeria. Good morning, everybody. I want to like to appreciate what you have for doing this wonderful work again. I want to appreciate them for bringing us in again at this time to speak about stigma in mental health. Now, before I actually talk about the stigma around youth mental health, I would like to first tell the viewers what stigma itself is all about. When we talk about stigma, stigma is something can be seen as when someone view you or when someone see you to have a negative characteristics that he or she thought is a disadvantage to you. So when somebody is viewing you or is prejudicing you or is stereotyping you to have something that is a disadvantage to you, you think already have a stigma. Now there are so many stigma in youth mental health. One of them is gender stigma. Gender stigma. We also have things like discrimination. We also have things like stereotype. We also have things like we also have things like we also have things like HIV stigma. These are some of the stigma in youth today that whenever they think about it, they feel like not seeking help because of a particular reasons of theirs. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for greatly articulated. So let's hear the another question. So my question answer going to be actually shared by another phenomenal panelist, the Victoria Mupende. The question is why it is particularly difficult for youth to talk about the mental health. Okay, I can see the panelists have not there today. Anyway, uh, my question towards the Honorable Elizabeth, please answer the question that why it is particularly difficult for youth to talk about mental health.
Yes, thank you very much. Like our brother Chijoke rightly said, stigma is something that's seen as negative or a shame or something that you are seen that is seen as a disadvantage in the society.
Mhm.
Mental health is seen as a disadvantage in the society. So basically, I feel from studies that have shown it is youth see it as a disadvantage talking about their mental health because they are discriminated, taken advantage of, bullied, and all sorts of things. So, in this day and
Mhm.
age, a lot of times it is always very difficult for people to talk about their mental health, especially when the first responders they've spoken to, I call them first responders, is the first person someone with mental health talks to. How the first responder handles the situation, critically handles the situation, determines if the person decides to go on to seek help or not. So a lot of times it is the reaction, the response of the first responders that determine how the person responds invariably. So that's just it.
Okay, so what about your opinion, the Honorable Julie?
So I think the reason why young people particularly find it difficult to talk about their mental health issues is because they don't fully understand them. And that's because there's such a lack of
Mhm.
awareness around mental health issues, and particularly mental health issues in young people. And a lot of that does center around the stigma of mental health. So I think by raising awareness and encouraging people to be more forthcoming and accepting of mental health issues, we can make more of a difference. And just in general, encourage
Mhm.
particularly young people to come forward about the mental health issues they're suffering from or experiencing. So, yeah, the main difficulty, I think, is a lack of awareness.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. The lack of awareness, and sometimes youth are not that much capable to understand that kind of things are happening because of the mental health issue, and self awareness also another great responsible point, because we have not that much understanding. Even youth are not actually focusing that one as well. So yes, I want to get the answer the same question to my dear brother Chizioke.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, globally, it has been a global challenge that so many research has shown that youth, especially within the range age of 10 to 24, always find it very difficult, if not totally impossible, for them to disclose or discuss issues concerning them. There are a lot of reasons why youth find it very difficult to discuss issues of mental health concerning them. One of them is lack of confidentiality in them. You see, so many persons, like the speaker that spoke before highlighted, you see, so many youth today lacks interest in sharing problem with others because, initially there is always this saying that says that a problem shared is a problem solved. But if you look at today's world, a problem shared is no longer a problem solved. it is better stated today that a problem shared is half solved. Now, lack of confidentiality is one of the major reasons why youth has find it difficult to share their mental health issue with others. The second one is the desire to be self-reliant. Sometimes youth decide they feel like they want to be rely to solve their problem on themselves, solve their problem by themselves, and by so doing, they may not believe or they may not have thought that they are not getting it right. The third one is lack of awareness on mental health related services. So many youth today do not know how to get help. That is the problem. If they know how to get help, some of them would have run to that place and get help. But one of the challenging factors is that most of them don't even know about institutions that are in charge of mental health challenges. And thereby, they just rely and believe, let's anything that will happen, let it happen. The last one I will speak about is peer pressure. Peer pressure is one of the factors that hinders people from seeking help. Because sometimes youth of these days, they will believe that how will my friends say about what I'm passing through? What if I tell him or what if I tell her? What will people say about me? The question of what people will say about youth has constituted a major challenge, and that has posed it very difficult for them to discuss issues when it comes to mental health challenging them. Thank you.
Right, greatly understandable. But even you are focusing that yes, most of the youth are not that much interested to share their all their mental health issues because they are thinking that they are feeling insecure while sharing to others. Even they are not feeling that much. I mean, they are not getting the environment, positive environment, what they can actually share. Even sometime we have been observing in Bangladesh and some other parts of the world today, and they actually still they are not that much comfortable in their family as well. So we have to think about it. Even we have to work on it because this should be addressed to eliminate it, all the mental health issues in youth, because youth is the power of the society, youth is the power of the world. But you know what? There is a number. I have been working with several youth platform, so I have understand that most of the youth actually, it's all about 50%. Over 50% youth live in the poor countries, like South Asian countries, like African nation countries, and some other parts of the Middle East. Even look, they are not getting the proper rights. They are not getting the proper basic needs. Even they are not getting the proper opportunities. For several factors, actually, they actually impact for the mental health issues. And yes, of course, you guys are really particularly even articulated perfectly that why actually they are not interested to share. So my next question to all of you. So I will go first to the Elizabeth. So my next question is, how can we destigmatize mental health issues among youth? The Honorable Elizabeth, can I have your answer, please? Okay, maybe the network list.
Can you?
So yes,
Sorry.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Yes.
can hear you.
Like Julie rightly stated, these days people don't even understand what mental health is all about. There's no awareness of what mental health is all about. So having a basic understanding of what mental health is all about, and then understanding that your mental health is also the same as your physical health is as important as that. You cannot say you are taking care of your physical health without taking care of your mental health. It is very, very important. So explaining to them, you can be sick and have cancer, you can be sick and have diabetes. Mental health is also a disease. That's why a lot of times people just feel mental health when someone says they have mental health issue, it is not a sickness. They just tell you, oh, you'll be fine, oh, you get better. So understanding that mental health and physical illness are the same is also very important. And also, we should always treat people with mental health with compassion and without prejudice, understanding that people with mental health can also live normal lives. People with mental health can also function properly. people with mental health can also lead fulfilling lives and without being judged. And also, I think our attitude to people around us when we find out they have mental health, our attitude, the words we say, we should always be careful. We should pick our words carefully, use our words wisely. Avoid using terms when someone tells you, "Oh, I think I have a mental health issue." Avoid using words like, "Oh, I think you're crazy." "Oh, I think you're a freak." "Oh, I think there's something wrong with you." Being very careful with the words you use. Being very, very careful with the words you use. Always listen to them when they speak is very, very important. Don't dismiss their concerns. Don't sound judgmental. And don't be quick to give advice. They don't, some of them might not necessarily need advice. They just need someone to listen to them. So that's also very, very important. And also understanding that when you have mental health, it's not the end of it. When you are sick, it's not the end of the world. Having a mental health illness, it is not the end of the world. Take time to breathe, see a professional, get someone to talk to. It is not the end of the world. Don't be too hard on yourself. You can lead a very fulfilling, a very good life with your mental health disorder. And also, just those around them, I think it's very important. I feel most of the time when we are trying to create awareness for people with mental health disorder, we forget the people around them. It is very important. If I have it's very, very, it's very important that the people around me are also finding out and looking for ways and resources to also help me look for avenues to make me love previous job. So the people around them also to also educate themselves
Maybe the
properly.
network glitch
The
actually
people
not
around those with
clearly.
mental,
I'm so
can you
sorry,
hear me?
Honorable. I'm sorry to interrupt because we can hear you properly because of the network glitch. Yes, your answer is so much specific. Absolutely, we have to consider those. Even one research information I have read that we are mainly most of the people whoever actually live in the world, we are mainly focused on our physical health. We are several times yearly, even the sometimes even frequently we have check all the health issues rather than we are thinking about mental health issues. The honorable, we have to consider those as well. Anyway, move to the question, and I would like to get the answer. The honorable Julie, can you please give the answer, please?
Oh, yes. So I think it's important to promote a positive environment where people feel like they can open up and share and be listened to. Also, a non-judgmental environment where people are told or made aware that this can be an ongoing thing. So, the things that get us down are also the things that can help us to grow within ourselves and shape our lives. And, even at our worst at times, we can overcome that positively. And that can be the sort of thing that that really does help a person to grow mentally and to gain resilience against the same sort of things that can bring them down in the future. So by creating that environment that is always going to be there, that creates a positive reflection for a person to realize that they can open up and they can share their problems with people without being judged negatively. And also, when it comes to peer pressure, people wanting to just say everything's fine because they're afraid of being judged negatively, if we can sort of remove the stigma around that, it would really I think it would make a huge difference. That's all.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. Even I have a question to you that more specifically that one of my younger brother and sister actually share a complete story, but I'm just focusing on in summary that he or she actually has been suffering the bullying in their institution. But we can't change all the institution but all the people's minds. So how can he or she can control him or herself to face these issues, as well as how can he or she can be positive? Because those my brother or younger brother or sister actually shared me that she or he not want to go the institution for their study at all because of the bullying. So how can we actually make him or her positive regarding that?
Well, I think when it comes to being bullied, it's important to just rise above it and be the better person, because it's never the right thing to sink down to that person's level. So giving them that support and saying, it's okay to talk about it can make it easier for them to go and face that challenge.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's hear from the TJ. Okay, brother, can you please share the same question?
Okay, okay, thank you very much. I think the last speakers have spoken very, very well. I just want to add something. When it comes to how to stigmatize stigma on mental health, it is something that is very, very important, because the issue of mental health, is an issue that is have to be treated with every kind of care, both from individual, government, and private organizations. Now, one thing I want to recommend is awareness, and this awareness I want to recommend. I want to just speak on how I feel it should be done more better. Now, the way I feel it should be done more better is by integrating this awareness into the higher institution. This awareness should be integrated and should be in line with the higher institutions learning, because I discovered that majority of the arena or environment where we can find this youth are the higher institutions, graduate schools and colleges. So it would be better if this mental health awareness campaign should be launched as part of the learning process in the higher institution. Because I graduated from the university, I did a bit of psychology, but I discovered that, especially in most developing nations, they are just taught psychology as just something that they need to be taught and just write and pass the exam. But that does not end it, because it has to solve a problem. Psychology as a field of learning is meant to solve this psychological problem that is mentally related. Now, if this awareness is integrated into the school system, I think it will go a long way in solving this issue of destigmatizing mental health challenges. Another step I want to recommend is what Jimha is always doing all the time. In fact, I appreciate them quite well for that, creating content that is very relevant to culture. When you create content that when people read it, wow, some of this content that Jimha shares is very, very helpful. Some people may not know, but when people read it and consume it really go a long way in solving their mental health problem. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, for your such a wonderful way to share. And yes, of course, let's move on to the next question, as our two of the panelists are not there. So the directly question will be the Julia back. The next question: why it is important to destigmatize mental issues among youth?
Well, I think it's obvious. It's important because youth are the future, and they are going to grow based on the experiences that they have, and they're going to pass that on to other young people. So, creating that sort of that background of upbringing that they can then pass on, to generations to come, who are going to affect the world around them, and that includes, all of us who are not necessarily still amongst that category of youth. But I think it's important for everyone to share that experience.
Absolutely. So, what about your opinion, brother? Gigi, okay.
Yes, it is very, very important. Very, very important when we talk about destigmatizing mental health challenges. You see, the issue of stigma came as a discourse, because of the need to bring out the youth out of the shackle of not seeking help. Now, it is very important to destigmatize it because one, it will equip the youth with this resilience that is needed to cope with any kind of challenges that life will throw at them. When youth lacks the capacity, when they lack the ability, when they lack the necessary skills to combat this stigma, it will be a challenge to them, and this resilience is needed will not be there. So it is very, very important to destigmatize that. It will give them this coping skills to challenge and conquer any life challenges. The second one is that it will help them to seek help. When it is destigmatized, it will help them to seek help. They will not be like, I'm not ready to share my story with others. They will feel happy and they will feel empowered to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, of course. And some of my young brothers and sisters, they also are actually have been facing several mental health issues that I shared earlier. And why it's happening? Because there are several factors are there. First of all, if I consider that the educational system are not, it is not very great to provide the quality education. That's all the another factors. Absolutely, the factors all about the imbalance of equality, and also of course the factor of their future, they are what they are thinking, and there are several issues for their family as well. So yes, let's move on to the next question. My next question is, what are the some of the sign that someone is struggling with their mental health? So how can we understand? So question two is Chiji, okay, brother first, then Julie. Okay, brother. Okay, unmute yourself, please. Brother Chiji, okay, please unmute yourself. Absolutely, the smiling face. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Can you hear
Loud
me
and
now?
clear. Please go on.
Okay. So there are a lot of signs that, when
Yes, brother, can you hear me?
we talk about there are a lot of signs. One of the can you hear me?
Yes, but the network glitch is going
Hello?
on. Anyway, you can share. You can share. Yeah.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, now it's perfect. Please share.
Can anyone?
Okay, brother, you can share.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. You can share your words.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Like I was
Yes, yeah.
saying that one of the
Yes, please go on.
signs that we can see is we see people finding it difficult to cope with life challenges. Another one is that we see people overreacting to issues. Some persons, any little thing, they will pick offense. They are not doing it ordinarily. They are doing it because of a mental health challenge that they are having. And the third one is you see people feeling hopeless and sad all the time. When all these things begin to happen to an individual, you discover that these are signs of
All right. So, my dear brother, you can have some time, so I can ask the same question to another panelist, the Honorable Julie. Please share your words. Then we will move forward to another time. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, some of the signs that I notice when people are struggling with mental health issues, they're usually unusually quiet. You might know someone to be a vibrant, happy person, and suddenly you haven't heard from them for a few days. They may be experiencing bullying like your younger brothers and sisters, and they may not want to talk about certain things, and so that can affect how they how they communicate with others in their life. So it's important to ask questions and to let them know that it's okay to sort of communicate any issues, and not everything has to be perfect. So that's another sign is they may harm themselves or lash out discriminately or indiscriminately. They may have outbursts or may show signs of violence, and it can be really difficult to notice the signs of a person struggling with mental health issues, because they may do things that are upsetting or to make them seem like a bad person. But in reality, you just need to realize that these can be cries for help or signs of suffering. So it's important to, get some detailed information, get some background on people who seem to be acting out strangely or that you just generally don't understand.
All right. Yes, yes, of course, I do agree with you. Even yes, those are the sign we can easily understand that yes, he or she can actually facing the mental health issues. Even sometime I have shared that the brilliant students suddenly actually fall down with their study. Even some of the for some suicidal attempts also happen for the mental health issues as well. So we have heard that from the statistics, we have heard that number of youth actually got suicided because of their mental health issues, like they are actually failing their in the education field, they are failing to understand even for the love issue and some other things as well. So drastically we have been experiencing the bad impact of suicidal things from youth. So this all about the happen because of the mental health issue. So yes, my dear brother, dear Honorable Chizi, okay, can you hear me right now? Okay. In this world and this online platform, the network is the another. It could be a friend, it could be your enemy for live streaming. Anyway, so move on to the another question before actually catching our another panelist today. So yes, let's have a one-to-one question. Yes, my dear brother, can you hear me? Brother Chijioke, can you hear me? Okay, let's move forward. So yes, Julie, I have another question to you. That is, suppose, as you say, how can I start a conversation with someone actually who is actually facing the mental health issues?
So if you want to start a conversation with someone who might be suffering from mental health issues, it's important for them to be able to relate to you, because when you make a person feel different and isolated, it becomes very difficult for them to communicate in a way that they feel like they've been understood or listened to. So I think my answer to that is just to make them feel like, two people can go through the same thing, even though you might not be experiencing it. It's okay to just say, sometimes I don't feel so great. How are you feeling? You can share these things with me. So I guess another one of that's one very good way to start a conversation with someone who may be having mental health issues, or you can say something like, yeah, I notice something's not right with you. Do you want to open up and talk about it? I think, I think so. So those are two ways when it comes to a one-on-one conversation, and there are other ways like group and peer support, and say that, that there's a big wide world out there and it's nothing to be afraid of. So in terms of starting conversations that are one-on-one or group conversations, sometimes the whole group might be involved. So a little bit of co-management might be necessary just to sort of guide and steer things appropriately. I guess that's my answer for that. So I think
Yes,
there are a lot
absolutely,
of
absolutely,
different ways. So we'll hear from some other
absolutely.
people who've got any network.
Yes, of course, and yes. So, dear honorable, all the parents who have been watching with us, and if you know that your child actually having the mental issues, trust me, you are the main person who can actually can get rid of this kind of mental issues from your child. So, how can you do that? The answer is already given by Julie. And yes, one-to-one conversation, that what is required. This is a kind of counseling, We can, you can be an active listener to hear all of your child words, what he or she has been feeling for some other impactful things. So this is the way. Another way, yeah, you can have the consultant, the psychiatrist or psychologist, so they can have the another issues to solve. So there are the several way others, and yes, Julie perfectly focused that this can be the way to talk with the people who have been facing the mental health issues. So in this right now the current scenario in the world, because youth, and as I shared earlier, the youth are the main source of power to make a completely decorated world today. And but right now we are facing the youth are actually using, facing a lot of mental health issues. So that should be actually need to get rid of by giving your personal counseling, personal guiding, even the parents, teacher, even the person who are actually very close to the victim, so they can be the responsible person to mitigate losses, mitigate all the negative impacts. So yes, I think another panelist, actually all of the panelists have been facing some network issues. So yes, let's have a one-to-one. There's no question. So Julie, I just focusing on that. Do you know that there's some consequences for the stigmatized or mental health?
I can imagine there are quite a lot of consequences. One that comes to mind
Mhm.
particularly is the personal consequence you could suffer, because if you are somebody and you stigmatize a mental health issue, that's going to reflect poorly on your own quality of life, because there may come a time when you feel like when you're not feeling well, and because you've put that, realistically, the person that you've really put it on is yourself. If you stigmatize and don't accept a mental health issue, then you're only bringing yourself down. And by, and
Absolutely,
by, and
absolutely.
by
So,
saying that, I mean, sorry, no, you go.
Mhm. No, 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 please, please, please carry on.
Okay, so yeah, and by saying that, I mean, you've taken on board yourself that mental health issues are not something to be acknowledged, and you've made the struggle for yourself, really, by stigmatizing it.
Wow. So, dear honorable participants, on all the impactful leaders, youth who have been watching from the different parts of the world today, and whoever will be watching later, trust me, we have a great panelist like Julie, because she has been contributing such a great way with some question regarding the mental issues of youth. And of course, Julie, I will give you the one feature that is, think about, there is a thousand, not thousand, actually, million of youth actually in front of you right now. All they are actually watching, all their eyes are watching on you. You have to have shared some of the impactful words to all of the youth. So, what will be the words of your in front of them?
In front of them, oh goodness. Well, I think love, peace, and happiness, important words. If you can give yourself a motto or something to live by, and that helps you overcome any difficulties, then love, peace, and happiness should be among them.
Wow. Please give a big hands to Julie. Such a wonderful words you have shared. And yes, I think we started the word like we have a dream. So we have a dream to see the world with the colorful youth for the innovative innovation to make the impactful footprint in the humanity field as well as the development field as well. So thank you so much, Julie. So yes, I think I can see the my dear honorable brother, even another panelist, Elizabeth, also with us. So yes, the question, Elizabeth, can you please hear with? Can you hear me, the honorable Elizabeth? Okay, can you please unmute yourself so share your words? Okay, so yes, my dear brother, we are waiting for you. So the question is all about that: how can we start a conversation if someone about have been facing the mental health issues? I think, brother, can you hear me? I think the same network issues going on. So no problem. So it may happen, and we have to be actually in line with that. So it doesn't matter. So what will be the impactful session of today? Trust me, the topic is very impactful to all of you. That how to combat the stigma around the youth mental health issues. And Jimha actually have been contributing the several mental health issues of youth that truly and perfectly articulated as well as given some strategies even strategical way that you can even able to implement your life, your friends, your brother and sister, even the youth, whoever living from the different parts of the world, whoever connecting with you, because our main motive to think about to make even to get all the productive output from the youth. Dear Julie, most of the people in around the world actually, if we are focusing on the senior citizen or the citizen who have been actually working on making the policy, implementing some projects, but if you focusing on the true implementation on field, you should use the youth because youth are working on field, youth are working in ground, and they're actually closely connected with the beneficiaries. So that's why youth power is required right now around the world. And I'm very much honored to connect with you, dear Honorable Julie, and connect with all the panelists who are with us. And yes, of course, I will actually bother you one more time, dear Julie. Any last word for today's session or about mental health issue?
No, I'd just like to thank everyone for contributing, there've been some network issues, but these things happen. So, I greatly
Yeah,
appreciate being given the chance to be part of this group and to contribute and try and make a difference for young people.
absolutely. Make the difference. So, yes, so that's all about today's session. I think we will have another great session with Julie to understand. Even we'll have one-to-one session. That would be a very great to know more things from you. And yes, we can see that my brother Chijioke also joined. So, brother, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, brother, can you hear me? Okay, no problem. Same problem and same solution. So let's keep it and let's bring together. Together we are stronger and globally with mental awareness really contributing your ongoing support. Julie, we will extend you for the next upcoming any session and to know from you more because we do believe you are the resourceful person for all of the youth enrichment, all of the youth skills development, even all of the youth make positive vibes. So thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much, my dear honorable brother, and thank you so much to all of the participant and attention. I mean, participants who have been watching from the different parts of the world today. And thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, even good night. So thank you. Bye bye for watching this session.
Thank you. Bye.